Oh my goodness, people are here already. Hey, Swarad, Sahil, how are you? What a great start. Swarad is already competing for best emoji. Again, he wants another one. Look at him go. And yes, Saurabh, Ankur always reads the comments. He's also a troll. All right, who else is here? We've got 12 viewers. Everybody start posting in chat. Show me you're here. Let's see. I love the thinking face, Swarad. That emoji is perfect. We all look like that when we're trying to answer an Ankur Kapoor question. Hey, Jaspreet. Jaspreet, are you here to support your fearless leader? Okay, 13 viewers. How are we all doing, folks? Type in your weekend plans. Tell me what you're up to this weekend. Share. Who's doing what on Saturday? What's going on? One second, folks. Could you all hear that exchange that I just had or no? Do a live show. My wife drops off groceries is what I get for recording in the kitchen. All right, let's kick this off, folks. Nothing planned yet. Okay. No, Swarad, I don't need to do a show. You hear me speak enough. Let's do this. All right, folks. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Nathan Roach, the propaganda minister at Axelerant. I'm here with Hetal. I'm super excited to ask her questions about delivery at Axelerant. And we've got a great announcement at the end of this. So please stick around. Let's welcome Hetal. Hetal.
Hey, hi everyone. Hi, Nathan.
Thanks for joining me. And, you know, just like the sales interview, we're just going to wing this one. How prepared do you feel?
I think not at all, but let's go with the flow and find out.
Okay. Awesome. I want to take us back because what the show is about is delivering differently, right? And Axelerant delivery and how that's changed. And I want to go all the way back to when you first came in and the way we were delivering projects, what the situation was. And can you tell me a little bit about how that's changed over time, how that's evolved to the folks who don't know?
Yeah. Oh, wow. I mean, it's like walking down memory lane with what you're saying. And although it's been 5 years, it seems like a really long time. I don't know if that's good or bad. But yeah, back when I joined, I think I joined in March 2018, which says that I complete 5 years last month. And I think when I joined, we were about 30, 40 folks. And initially, actually, I had applied as a customer success manager at Axelerant because they told me that they don't have project managers in delivery. And I was like, okay, let's see how that goes. And then I was told, okay, we want a project manager. I'm like, okay, let's go back and see how that happens. Um, I think at that time, we really did not have the concept of project managers or delivery. We were, like I said, a bunch of 30, 40 folks working through staff augmentation projects majorly. And funnily enough, I was a staff augmented PM. as well. So after I joined, I was told that you will not be working on Axelerant projects. You will be staff aug to one of our customers, which is Acquia. So this is how it all began, and this was new for me, because back when I had worked, it was like, okay, you did projects end to end. You were not staff auged to anybody. You saw the projects through and through, and you had like a lot of control and visibility over things. So yeah, this was a very new experience back then.
When you were a staff augmentee on the Acquia project, how long were you on that engagement for?
I was actually on a bunch of engagements. I ended up working with Acquia for close to 2 years on a set of engagements. And I know a lot of people will identify with this who are on the stream that, I felt, am I at Accelerant really? Or because I'm not looking at Axelerant Slack, I'm always in Acquia meetings. It's very rare that I'm, coming back to Axelerant. And I'm sure a lot of people will identify with that feeling who are, augmented across projects. But hopefully that has changed with how we have added, different layers of people like account managers, project managers that keep people tied to Accelerant, help them identify with Accelerant during such times.
And talk to me about the change, because you were here as a project manager, you were on loan, so to speak, still a full-time Accelerant team, but you were on different projects. Talk to me about how things changed for you in terms of your role and how Accelerant went about delivery.
Mm. So, one of my very often asked questions to my reporting manager then, Srini, was, when are we going to do projects on our own? Like, I'm a control freak. Okay. So I want all the control with me when I'm doing a project. So I used to keep asking, when are we going to do projects end to end? Why do we not have a more robust layer, of delivery in general? And like, yeah, the time will come, the time will come. And yeah, I mean, post my stint of the Acquia PMing after 2 years, I think Accelerant had grown to realizing the need of having more project managers, of embedding that layer across projects. In fact, why just PMs, like changing the way we deliver to customers in general. There was a sense of, needing that maturity as well. So that's how things kind of evolved post the 2 years of Acquia PMing. And I think over the past 3 years, those are the changes that, I have experienced at Accelerant.
And your professional growth. So you came in just as a PM. And I shouldn't say just as, but you came in level one, right? Or I mean, tell me about like your professional journey. What happened after staff augmentee, project manager? What was the next step and the next step after that? Give us kind of like a walkthrough of your career ladder.
After the staff augmentee stint, it was more like, hey, will you be um, interested in leading a team of project managers? And we had not even gone into thinking of delivery as a service at that time. It was more like, okay, can we hire more project managers? Put up some processes in place that could ensure that there is consistency across our projects. This was what it was about. That is how it started. And then it gradually evolved to, hey, we need help with resourcing. And by resourcing, I mean the function of ensuring that we have the right kind of people, ensuring that they are happy while they are on projects, ensuring that they are getting deployed on projects. So I kind of, along with Pratik and Srini, was a part of that team as well. So this was like the things that I was juggling, growing a PM team, while at the same time trying to play my part in what was then called as the staffing team at Accelerant.
And how about now? Where are we now? And what does delivery look like?
I think over the past year, we have made significant changes. I talk about this as at most of the delivery of sites. We have had new teams, new people come in because we have started to realize that with the numbers that we are growing at, with the kind of maturity that we would like to have when we deliver to customers, we need certain dedicated functions. And I think what our customers have also started sharing with us now, and my heart warms when you say that, say someone from MSF had lovely things to say about the team, and it's amazing to see that all those foundations that we had been laying over the years in terms of a mindset shift. have finally started bearing fruit. So I think that is where we are at right now. I only feel like with some of the introductions of, say, work stream managers or career managers, our customer experience on projects will only enhance, and we will be more ready. We will not be reacting to customer needs. We will have a more sense or pulse of, where are we with customers, what is their next need, and more than that, actually start investing in the relationship with the customer as well. So one of the challenges that we had in between was, like I said, we started from a 30-40 team member. At some point we were 100. How do you keep that culture or that passion for delivering to the customer intact when you grow threefold or when you grow fourfold, was like one of the primary challenges. So yeah.
And right now there must be some, I mean, there must be challenges or growing pains. How many people were here when you started those years ago? Do you remember the rough number of employees generally?
I don't think we were more than 50. In fact, at the Jaipur offsite, I remember telling Monisha that the number of people at this offsite is more than the number of people at the first Axelerant retreat I attended.
Right.
And that's saying something.
And now we are 3 times plus that, right? And with that would have to be, I mean, there would have to be growing pains. What do you see right now as challenges, or as a challenge that you're looking to solve, or things that we're still actively working on, just in the spirit of openness, things that we have to get better at, things that people are leaning in, problems that they're attempting to solve, considering the scope and the size of what we're dealing with today?
For this year, I call them the three S's actually, which is, bringing scalability, sustainability, and standardization and systemization to delivery. By that, what I mean is, like I said, what we've replicated with 30 to 100 or 150 needs to get replicated or scaled to an even larger level. That requires us to have a systemized approach to delivery, and that means that our delivery experience for customers and for teams has to be systemized across the board. It cannot be solely people driven. So say for example, one particular team is providing a certain experience to the customer, whereas for another team the experience is like very high, very varied, or very extreme. So that speaks about, having the systemized approach to things. Sustainability, I think, is very crucial for delivery, given that most percentage of our organization caters to client projects. It's important for us to be making money out of these, for us to ensure that Accelerant thrives, survives, we grow along with it as well. So I think these three are like very crucial for us in the coming year, for sure, for us to reach that scale of operation as well.
Great. We have our first question from Jaspreet. What kind of challenges did you have when you got the opportunity to lead a team of project managers after transitioning from a staff augmentation project manager role? So, what sort of challenges did you have to face? This could be professionally or operationally, in going from a staff augmentee PM to leading a team of PMs.
So Jaspreet, like one of the things that goes away when you get into a leadership position is that the adrenaline rush of delivering to the customer every 2 weeks, attending a demo with the customer every 2 weeks kind of goes away. So what, and I've spoken about this with some of our upcoming leaders as well, that that will go away. The gestation period of your initiatives will be longer. You will not see the impact of what you did immediately. I think that was one major challenge that I faced. Where do I begin? Like, how do I operate? Because for the past 10, 12 years, I had moved from project to project, working on deployments, celebrating a go live, but that adrenaline rush suddenly kind of went away. That was one major challenge. The other major challenge I feel is, I was kind of taking over certain reporting relationships, which is difficult, because there is an already established relationship with a previous manager, and you need to work on building a fresh relationship with someone and stand up to those expectations. So I think these were the two major things for sure, with the adrenaline rush being on top and I missing it even now, I would say.
And how do you manage that seeing delayed gratification? Is it just a matter of resetting expectations for yourself, or how do you deal with that?
That's a tough one. I'm still like dealing with it. So there's no sure short way, but I try and break it down to a smaller degree. So for example, with this effort that we're doing, for example, the Axelerant live, right? And I don't want to play spoil sport and reveal the announcement at the end, Nathan. So I'll be tight-lipped about it. But then even with this, I'm trying to mentally break it down into smaller chunks. For example, today's session is one small step. Done. Check. What is the
Yep.
next milestone? Let's break it down to a very small step and then move ahead. So again,
Spoken like a
you
true
can
PM.
you can only try is what I can say for sure.
I want to go back. I want to talk about adrenaline. You mentioned this adrenaline rush during a deployment. Can you talk to me about moments in your current role that you're just super excited about, or that give you that adrenaline rush? Changes that you're looking to create, or changes that you've been able to create in recent memory. What gives you that rush now?
I think most of the time that I have spent lately has been in grooming and empowering leaders. And when I see those leaders taking a stand for their own people, being happy with in their wins, is when I feel like, okay, I have done something today. I've accomplished something today. So I think that's one rush that I take away. And um, yeah, I think that would be it.
Do you have a bit of advice that you could give to, like, every team member in delivery? If you're in delivery, right? What is it that you really should be focused on from your perspective, Hetal, at a high level? Do you have like some advice that you could give all of your team members? Perhaps it's advice flowing from the kind of high level alignment that you have with Anchor about the change that you're looking to create. What would you tell people?
I think we in teams, like even when I have worked in project teams, we always do not give a lot of value to what we do, to the change that we bring. We feel like, hey, I am on sprint 10 and I am doing this feature. But I think sometimes we cannot pause and we don't have that luxury to pause and look at the big picture. So I would say, take that pause and say that what is the change that I'm trying to bring in from this? How is the customer getting impacted? I think that is what makes Axelerant different, to be honest. I think there are a lot of agencies out there who are churning project on project. But I think we remain committed to what the customer's end goal is. And most of all, what I have seen is a lot of honesty. I mean, today I think I'll take the liberty to come across a scenario that came to me today where we had given the customer two options. One was to just run some upgrades and see if that solves the problem, and the other was to like a 50K estimate of getting it done ourselves. But we were honest about both approaches, and we said whatever works for you. If the upgrade works for you, you might not have to spend this amount. And I like the fact that we were honest about it and not trying to just wing it for the sake of revenue. We were there to nurture that relationship and build that relationship long term.
I want to ask about the advice you have for other people who are looking to you as a leader. You went from this PM staff augmentee to the director of delivery at an organization which is growing very quickly, right? How did you get where you are now? What can you tell people who are looking at your career trajectory here at Accelerant, and they want to take away something from that? What advice do you have for them, those who are aspiring to grow in a similar way?
Yeah, you're making me sound like a very old person by asking back to back questions on
Wait, I've been
advice.
here I've been here longer than you. I've been, I've been here longer than you, but I mean, it certainly, I mean, people see how you've grown and they're thinking, could I do that too? Right? if you were to say yes you can, and here's how, what is that how?
Unfortunately, there is no how. So, I mean, my answer to this was going to be you will not know everything. Nobody will know everything. Ankur will also not know everything. So, and if you do not know anything, just say that I'm not sure how to do this, but let me go find out. And I have done that a lot of times with both Ankur and Michael. um, I think a few years ago, when we were starting with the support portfolio, I had help from Mukul, who had worked previously in support, and we were going a certain way, and there was a change in direction. And I was told, is this something that you can do? I'm like, I've never done this before. I have no idea how this is going to scale, but I'm doing this for the first time. It's okay to say that. And there are going to be a lot of things that you will do for the first time, not knowing how they will pan out. So I think take that risk, and make everyone aware that you're taking that risk and diving into the unknown.
So honesty, but being ambitious nonetheless. Is that right? Be honest about what you don't know, but
Yeah, yeah,
don't let that stop you from being ambitious and for taking something on, taking on a new
yeah, and
challenge. Is
be
that right?
vulnerable enough to say that I don't know. I mean, for example, this Axelerant live thing, I don't know. I mean, I just like I said, I just showed up. I was asked to join.
Me
Link
too.
said I'm here. So yeah.
Jaspreet asks a question. How do you see the trends or changes? Like what's happening in project management currently? And I'm assuming Jaspreet's question is outside of Accelerant as well. What are the trends that you're seeing in project management and delivery generally?
I think there is a lot of shift in focus, and I feel like Accelerant was an early adopter to this. And by the shift in focus, I mean that the focus is shifting to empowering teams rather than managing or controlling them. So back in the management era, it was about command and control, and then it was okay, manage the team, and now it's like, okay, how do you empower the team to function on its own? I Like I said, we have been early adopters to it, but from what I see, there is a consistent shift to ensuring that people see the value in what they do, and that makes for a great team. From And a lot of people management aspects are seeping their way into project management, because bear in mind, like, project management cuts across all fields. It's not just software. It's there in construction, it's there in manufacturing, it's there in industries which are very, very capital intensive. But even there is a shift of looking at the people side of it more. For sure, that's one major change. The other change is, when you talk of projects, the definition of a project is a one time endeavor. It's a unique one time endeavor. That is like the bookish definition of a project. That means that you and I are not interested in it beyond that one point, but it is shifting to long term growth, nurturing relationships, ensuring scalability. We are not here for just that one project. We are here to make a difference through the platforms that we create, and we work through it in the long run. I think these are the two major shifts that I see.
And how can PMs lean into this trend? How could they become part of that trend? What should they change, or what do they need to focus on, or what do they need to know in order to lean into this so that they're sensitive to the changes in expectations of their role across industries? What can they do to lean into this?
Don't just be a person who's churning requirements out. Understand what is the business use case. uh, a lot of project managers do not come from technical backgrounds, but then that should not stop you from not being curious about it. So be curious, find your way in, ask those questions. I think a lot of customers these days, and not just from project managers but from delivery teams across the board, the customers demand is, I'm not sure what I need, you tell me. And again, I think that is true for all industries. Like, when you go to Amazon, for example, to buy something, there are a lot of times that Amazon tells you what to buy. It pushes things to you, and that is a trend that we are seeing in the service industry as well. That you need to bring to me, what do you have to offer? How will it help me? It's not a simple environment where the customer knows, and And I've heard that a lot of times in delivery teams at Axelerant, the customer is not telling us what they need, but stop and think, they themselves don't really know. So understand that context to have a consultative and an educational conversation with the customer. I think that will bring you closer to them. That will also come in handy in during tough times. uh, and things go wrong, they always do. And if you've connected with them at that level, you can leverage that relationship when hard times come.
So last night I was speaking to Canopy Studios, which is an agency in Drupal, and their client, the Exploratorium, which is this interactive museum science experience type facility in California. And the synergy between the agency and the end client, you could tell, was just excellent. And I asked, like, how is this working, right? And what makes this so perfect? And they said, because we don't throw requirements over the fence at one another, right? We don't just throw requirements over, and our project managers and our technologists, they're operating as one team across agency and end customer, right? They're not just throwing tickets over the fence. I think that underlines what you were just saying.
That's true not just for the customer and the agency, that is true for within the team as well. And that's why you see these concepts of empathy, team dysfunction come to the foreground. That don't just throw your work over to the next person. Be aware of what are you delivering, have you really understood what is the end goal here. So I think that can apply to, it can start from the customer to the team, within the team, and back to the customer. That is what might give you fantastic results with customers. Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions, folks? Get your questions in there, because we're about to make a really awesome announcement. um, there's a question relay from WFM from Vivek that's coming. Get that in, Vivek. We want to see that. WFM, help people understand the evolving nature of WFM. Let me ask that, and Vivek, they'll give you time to get your question down pat. Talk to me about WFM, Hetal, and the way it's evolved and what it's doing currently.
Yeah, before I get to that, I'll tell you a funny story on how I came up with
Please,
WFM.
please.
So this is traditionally called resource management in the delivery function. Like it's literally that, resource management. But at Accelerant, we do not call people resources. So I had to come up with a nice word that still meant the function but was not resources, which is how we ended up with workforce management. Um, so in any organization, you need to know where people are, how many people do we have available, do we have the right kind of people available. And the evolution of WFM started as, I think, Pratik, Shini doing this for a while before I joined the team. And it was just a part-time gig on the side of, okay, who's free, who's available, there's a new requirement, who do we put in, and that kind of a thing. From that, it evolved to a function on its own, in terms of, hey, let's look at someone who has done this earlier at a larger scale, which right now is Manjula, who brings experience from Genpact in that function. And then, being a people care or a people centric company, there was conversations about, hey, having someone who is having a long term relationships with individuals across the board, which is how the career manager role kind of got folded into it. So I would say that it is for for delivery, it is a very central people care function, that ensures that you are on the right project, you where you want to be, you're growing at Accelerant. So yeah, it evolved from a very bare bones structure of moving people to what you see right now, and hopefully better in the future.
Nice, nice. Thanks for that. Vivek is asking, from when you joined to now in 5 years, how do you see us adapting to the increased business growth from the customer and people growth within Accelerant? How do you see us growing exponentially in the future? So I think Vivek is asking about scale and scalability. Can you give us some insights into whether what we have is scalable? Is it optimally scalable? Are there things that we have to change in order to make that scalable? Could you speak a little bit about that growth?
I think the growth that we have seen so far has been quite organic, and we have been lucky, touchwood, uh, as we have grown to this extent. But when you talk about moving this to a more larger scale, I think there is work to be done for sure, across all functions in delivery, because we are growing, and at the same time, it's like fixing an airplane while it is in the air kind of a scenario. So there is a lot of work to be done. Like I said, the three S's are key to the work that needs to be done over the next few years to ensure that we are a robust team at Axelerant.
Great. An honest answer.
Yeah, that is what got me here, right?
Well said. I think we're ready for our announcement. So as you can all see, Hetal does not need me in order to articulate great content on a show like this, right? She doesn't need me at all. So Hetal is going to be hosting, right? Not just PMs, but other people across delivery on a series, an internal series at Axelerant. And what we're going to be doing is focusing on engagement, highlights, and milestones, wins, and challenges. And she's going to take time every other week, I think we agreed, right, Hetal? More or less
Yeah.
She's like, yep.
Do I have a choice?
You're too good at this. You don't have a choice. You must do it. You're too talented. And I think what we'll see with Hetal's show, right? An Axelerant Live with Hetal as a host is her being able to go in deeper with subject matter expertise, being able to get those details out that I could never hope to get out. And I'm super excited to have her host and to bring in several people, different people across projects and engagements. And I think it's going to be a great way to inform our team of what's actually happening, right, across the organization. Because we do have this gap, don't we? We've got announcements, we've got other channels where we're communicating certain updates, but we really don't have, right, that in-depth, consistent, like I would say it's like a pulse of what's going on across engagements. And here's your solution, folks, before you
Yeah, I just want to add to that we're trying to, there are so many stories that happen every day. There are so many anecdotes that happen every day within teams. There are a lot of inside jokes, I'm sure, among teams. It's time to bring them out and share with the larger group.
That's right. Okay, folks. Well, thanks for joining us. Who is getting the emoji today? I don't know. The comments have been good. The questions have been excellent. But last time Swarad trolled his way to victory in getting the best emoji. I haven't seen a lot of that. People have been on very good behavior today. It's probably because you're here, Hetal. Everyone's on their best behavior.
You made me sound like such an old person that everybody just put on best behavior, probably.
Yeah, nobody trolled you at all. So Shani is saying me. Shani, is that the first time you've commented in this thread? You can't do it that way. Let me see. How long before Hetal says, please like and subscribe?
Thing again. Yeah.
I know. Look at him. Look at him go. So Ankur, you're going to have to make this decision. I don't know who wins today. I'm not sure. Jaspreet, maybe. Maybe it's Jaspreet. Awesome. Anything else, Hetal, that you wanted to highlight for folks here? Or is that a wrap? What do you think?
Yeah, so I have a show on my hands and I need content from all of you. So like Swaraj said, some version of please like and subscribe. So please bring content.
That's right. Like, subscribe, bring ideas to Hetal. And I think increasing sensitivity, right? What would make a great story, or what would employees, team members across Axelerant, what would they gain to hear about, right? Bring those ideas to her so that she can have more content to work with as the weeks go on. But I'm super excited for your show, Hetal. And I know this is just the beginning, because right now we're doing something internal, and the next thing is going to be doing something external and publishing online for all to see. So super exciting stuff. Thanks, Hetal. Thanks so much. Thanks everybody for joining. I hope you all have a really nice weekend. It's Friday night, right? So happy Friday. And we will see you next time. Actually, you will see her next time. So take care, everybody. And thanks so much for spending some time with us today.
Thank you.
Take
Thanks,
care.
Nathan.